The story begins with a man engrossed in his job. He refuses an invitation to hang out after work and stays overtime. Later that day, he is exhausted and on his way home, he's hit by a truck and dies. His soul is reincarnated into the body of an infant. Years later, the boy is seen hunting. 8-year-old Shin Wolford lives with his grandfather in the forest. His grandfather, called Merlin, teaches him magic. Shin is glad he doesn't have to shout out spells and incantations like an anime character. They are visited by Melida Bowen, a magic tool enchanter and friend of Merlin. She scolds him for hunting despite being so young. Mitchell Coling, who is Shin's combat instructor, cuts in and is impressed by his achievement. 2 years later, Merlin decides to teach Shin how to hunt for demons. He demonstrates how to use search magic once, but Shin imitates his spell in one try. Shin locates a demon with his search magic and they hurry to its location. However, Shin rushes at the demon and slays it before Merlin could do anything. One day, after his brutal training with Mitchell, Merlin reveals to Shin that he isn't his real grandson and explains how he saved him from the aftermath of a demon attack. Shin tells him he was already aware but still regards him as his only family. On his 15th year birthday, his manhood is celebrated by his little family. He's asked what he wants to do next, but during the conversation, Shin realizes he has no idea of the outside world as he had always been with Merlin, who spoils him. The group arrives in a wilderness where Shin is to demonstrate his new spell. Using his knowledge of science, Shin is able to use a fire spell with the power of a nuclear blast. Everyone is shocked by its destructive power and Milda scolds Merlin for failing to teach Shin how to hold back. Back at the cabin, they decide that Shin is too overpowered to just roam free, so he's asked to enroll in the capital's magic academy by his uncle, who reveals to Shin that he is actually the king of the nation. Along with him are Christina Hayden and Siegfried Marquez, who Shin had no idea are high-ranking government officials. King Decium explains that both Merlin and Milda are regarded as heroes who saved the nation from a demon attack years ago. Shin heads to the capital with Merlin and Milda, where they are given a VIP welcome in a mansion. Shin heads to town to explore. In the evening, he stumbles on some adventurers assaulting a girl, so he confronts them and easily handles their attack. After saving the girl, he's thanked by another cute lady who Shin falls in love with. The girls introduce themselves as Maria and Sicilian. They are surprised when Shin reveals that just like them, he too would be taking the Magic Academy entrance exams. They talk enthusiastically about the arrival of Merlin and Milda, who they refer to as the wise man and guru. Maria notes that she hopes their grandson would fall for her, and Shin starts getting uncomfortable with the topic, not wanting to reveal himself, so he excuses himself from the conversation. On the day of the exam, Shin is confronted by a noble, but he puts him in his place. He introduces himself as Kurt von Rietzberg, but Shin has no idea about nobility. The commotion is curbed by the crown prince, called August von Earshade, and Shin and the prince eventually get along easily. During the practical exam, each of the other applicants chant incantations only to produce useless spells. Shin is completely embarrassed by their level of magic. When it's Shin's turn, he's warned by the instructor to keep his power under control. Unfortunately, he destroys the room unintentionally. Shin comes out on top after the exam. He is given his uniform along with August the prince. At night, Shin re-enchants his uniform to suit his needs. He arrives at the entrance ceremony with his guardians, who are treated like celebrities. Shin is invited to give his speech as the top scorer. Maria and Sicilian are shocked to discover he's the Weissman's grandchild. Later, the girls ask for Shin's help. They explain that Kurt was mistreating Sicilian using his family's influence. When Kurt arrives at the scene, he tries to grab her, but Shin stops him. Sicilian explains that even though she declined his proposal, he still continues to hound her. Prince August cuts in and promises to report his actions to the authorities. Shin invites Sicilian to his mansion. However, Maria offers to join in, along with the prince and his escorts, Julius and Thor. Shin introduces the group to his guardians. He takes permission to overwrite Sicilian's uniform enchantment to keep her safe. Milda explains to her the severity of having Shin use his top-rated skill on her. So Sicilian breaks down in tears, admitting to taking advantage of Shin's kindness. She apologizes and tries leaving. However, she is stopped by Milda, who commends her for her honesty. After he enchants Sicilian's uniform, he's told to keep his skill a secret. However, he ended up enchanting the uniforms of the entire group except that of Maria at her request. Shin opens a gate which the group uses in teleporting to his cabin in the forest. Shin arrives in class with Maria and Sicilian. August tries to tease him for arriving with ladies but doesn't succeed. A disoriented girl arrives to interrupt their chat. She introduces herself as Alice Corner. The teacher arrives and takes the student on a tour around the school. He talks about different clubs available for them to join. Julius is excited to join a bodybuilding club, so August permits him to. He suggests that Shin creates his own club, and the teacher approves, so his other classmates decide to join in. In a meeting, the cabinet reports to the king that demon activities are increasing rapidly around the kingdom. He orders a thorough investigation by the Demon Hunters Society. At home, Kurt's father scolds his son, saying he is being penalized by the king because of his activities in the academy. Kurt doesn't feel sorry for his actions. He talks as if being possessed, so his father punches him, hoping to reset his character. The servants are ordered to lock him up. At school, the group talks about Kurt's drastic change in character, and August noted that it all began after he started visiting a blind teacher's laboratory. Mr. Strom, who is the blind teacher, visits Kurt's home. He tells him to get revenge on Shin, so he corrupts Kurt with his magic even more. At school, Shin and his friends receive the news that Kurt has been grounded. Sicilian is saddened by the news because there would be no more need for Shin to keep escorting her. However, Shin states that he doesn't intend on stopping. During the conversation, he tells the group he once hunted a demon bear at the age of 10. They make a big deal out of it, so he regrets talking at all. As they head for the study group, Shin senses a demon's presence. It turns out to be Kurt, who immediately shoots an attack at them. Shin conjures a shield. He tells the others to channel energy into their uniforms. He succeeds in stopping the attacks but sustains damage. However, auto-healing kicks in thanks to his enchantment. Kurt loses control and turns into a demonoid, so Shin tells the others to run away and allow him to handle the situation. As the two fighters fire attacks at each other, Shin notices that Kurt can still speak despite being demonized, so he attacks with spells that wouldn't kill him. Kurt starts gathering up magical powers to self-destruct, so Shin slays him with his sword before he destroys the entire academy. Shin is devastated that he killed someone, so he asks if he could have chosen a different course of action. Later, he tells the group he thinks Kurt's transformation might be man-made. He suggests that he may have been experimented on. At the mansion, King Decium is there. His aide reveals that Shin has been awarded the First Order of Merit award. Merlin and Milda are displeased upon hearing this. However, the king assures them the award has no political strings attached. He tells them it is purely to thank Shin for protecting the kingdom as they once did. The next day, Shin becomes the talk of the town. Sicilian is mistaken for his fiancée, so she gets embarrassed. At school, Shin's new club is overcrowded with applicants, so his teacher raises the bar high with the condition of accepting only students that can use dimensional magic. The students who get admitted are Mark Bean, the son of a smith, and Olivia Stone, whose family owns a popular restaurant. Shin tells Mark he would like a custom-made weapon, so he gives him his sword to work on. The investigation bureau pays a visit to Mr. Strom. They ask about his eyes, so he narrates how he was exiled from his hometown after a power struggle. He explains his blindness was caused as a result of a failed assassination attempt. His story touches them so much that instead of interrogating him, they ask for his expertise in examining Kurt's corpse. Strom agrees to cooperate with them. They lead him to the location of the examination, and here, he discovers he has been lured into a trap. He tries to escape by firing an attack that destroys the wall. Fortunately, Shin and his friends are in the area. He reveals himself to the prince as the one who demonized Kurt. On hearing him, Shin immediately attacks him and evades every attack directed at him. Shin gets him to jump mid-air. However, he has magic for floating. As the battle continues, his eye patch breaks, revealing he is actually a demonoid with a sense of reasoning. Shin becomes enraged and attacks again. Strom thinks he missed. However, it is a twofold attack which disintegrates him into nothing. Some days later, Shin tells August he thinks Strom is still alive. He explains that he tried the same spell in the forest and it didn't result in any explosions as it did with Strom. They arrive at the Bean Smith shop where the prince and Shin are introduced to Mark's father, who is the owner of the place. Shin explains his weapon specifications to him. After that, they rendezvous with the ladies. Shin offers to buy an accessory for Sicilian, who becomes flustered upon hearing this. They head into the store alone to choose an accessory, where he buys a ring to which he helps her put on. Later, Shin arrives at the ceremonial hall where he receives his award from the king in the presence of the nobles. At school, he suggests that all his group members should boost their attack and defensive magic by leveling up. Shin helps them determine their magic power by having them create barriers. He explains that it is the fundamental rule to determine how durable their spell becomes. He shows them how much magic power he can control. However, its quality is too dense for some students to handle. Strom is shown to be alive and scheming with an associate named Murai in another nation. A report comes saying that the Blusvia Empire's troops sent to the kingdom were severely injured. He also gets another report that demons are attacking the Empire's capital, so he orders a retreat. At the capital, Strom's demons have already started wreaking havoc. 3 days later, the king and his army arrive at the capital. However, Strom is waiting for him and uses a spell to assassinate the king. The kingdom's soldiers arrive at the Empire only to discover Strom has amassed an army of demonoids. They withdraw to report their findings to the king. Later, the teacher at school orders the students to level up quickly. This is because they can be drafted for war if need be. A joint training consisting of 4 students from the Magic Academy and Night School is put in place, and they are given the task to eliminate demons in the forest. The knights do not think highly of magicians, so they call them sprouts. At the carriage, the group introduces themselves. Shin tells them to be wary of the demonoids, but they're too proud and ask that Shin doesn't slow them down. August instructs his comrades to allow the knights to defeat the demons themselves. Sieg and Chris show up as the group instructors, but they start bickering at each other as usual. The knights engage a demon bear in battle, however, it runs right through them easily. Just before it deals a fatal blow, Shin cuts off its head in one strike. Chris delivers a pep talk and they now know their place. After Sicilian heals the injured knight, they start treating her like a maiden. Although Shin is displeased by this development, a group of 100 demons approaches their location, so Shin offers to take care of them himself. He uses powerful explosion magic to defeat the demons easily, which comes as a surprise to everyone present. The group encounters another demon, however, both the magicians and knights cooperate to defeat it. Siegfried is impressed by the magician's improvement, so he asks Shin to also teach him. August refuses, stating that sharing Shin's method of magic could lead to a great power imbalance. Alternatively, he instructs Siegfried on how to boost his magic power. He asks Maria and Sicilian to demonstrate using their magic barriers. After Alice's group witness how weak the knights are, they let loose and destroy everything with their advanced spells, eventually overloading their magic circuits. After the exercise, August tells the group that everyone who learned magic from Shin would be placed in a special unit where they would be supervised. Several days later, after training, August reveals that war is coming fast. He explains that Strom's army of demonoids grows in number each day. Shin sees the need to teach them new spells since they would be fighting at the front lines, so he proposes a training camp. When she explains his idea to Milda, she refuses the idea of girls and boys sleeping under the same roof unsupervised, so she volunteers to accompany them, so Merlin tags along as well. A few days later, they arrive at a hot spring resort owned by Sicilian's family. As they take a bath in the hot spring, Merlin appreciates the boys for being friends with Shin, who has always been lonely. The next day, Merlin helps the group control their magic powers. As they practice their attacks, Shin notes that they still have a long way to go before they can fight against the likes of Strom. Shin decides to train himself, however, the group is frightened of him, so they erect barriers to protect themselves. Shin tries to upgrade his explosion magic by focusing it on a single point. Milda is mad because he ends up blowing up a mountain. Shin uses his gate to take August back to the castle, where they are met by Ellie, his fiancée, and May, his younger sister. They are angry that August went to train, leaving them alone in the castle. The king permits them to join in the training camp. They use Shin's gate to head back to the town. Ellie is angry that Shin hogs all of August's attention. He explains that Shin is his first friend who sees him as an equal, so he gets carried away. However, he reassures her that she is the one that has his heart. He adds that Shin already has a woman. This makes Shin uncomfortable, so August tells him he has to decide his feelings for Sicilian. At night, Shin goes out to meet Sicilian. Here, they are able to confess their genuine feelings to each other, but as they try to kiss, they're interrupted by everyone who had been eavesdropping. Shin reveals that they are now in a relationship. The next day, Shin introduces them to a new style of training using a special ball. They are allowed to use their magic to toss the ball towards the opponent's court. The ball goes off course towards May and Ellie, however, Merlin is there to protect them. The next day, Shin and Sicilian head out to reveal their relationship to her parents. After revealing his intentions, her father is unexpectedly happy by the news, but his wife has other concerns. She tells Shin he must get engaged to Sicilian, to which he agrees instantly. It's time for Shin to train again, so they all hide behind their barriers. He tells them he isn't practicing an attack spell this time. He concentrates his magic on a stone to make it float. Next, he tries it on himself and succeeds. Shin reports to his guardians that they got engaged without their permission, so they head to Sicilian's home again. Here, they reveal that Shin isn't their biological grandchild. However, Sicilian's parents reveal that their approval of the engagement is solely because Shin values their daughter and not because of their positions as heroes. Later, she enchants their new uniforms with different forms of magic. He tells them that the change is because they are moving on to combat training. The target for the training is a catastrophe-class demon. He instructs them on how to attack. They use a combination attack to defeat the demon without a trace. As they continue with the training, Shin is impressed by how much they've improved. The next day, an engagement party is organized for Shin and Sicilian, where the king gives an impressive speech. By casting floating magic on the group, they're able to soar in the sky using their wind magic as a throttle. At the Empire, Strom is succeeding in his plan. He destroys supply routes, and this makes life hard for civilians who then lash out at the nobility who still have things easy. With their resentment, he's able to turn them into demonoids easily. Strom summons his demonoid leaders. Here, he tells them he has accomplished his goal of overthrowing the Empire. Therefore, they are free to do whatever they like. Strom tells Murai and Zest how he came to hate the Empire so much. He was once a lord who loved his people and made their lives better. He also had a wife who was pregnant. The other lords who didn't like his way of doing things gathered to plot on his downfall. He received a letter of summoning to the capital, although his wife tells him they may try to assassinate him. Strom reassures her, explaining that he is too great of a magician to be eliminated easily. While he goes to the capital, they spread a rumor that he secretly sells his people into slavery. They succeed in framing him for kidnapping and slavery, so the people take up arms in retaliation, and set his house on fire and killed his wife before Strom returned. In that pain, he turns into a demonoid, annihilating the entire town with his wrath. Some days later, August and his new special mage unit are inaugurated by the king. The ceremony is interrupted by the news of the demonoids' attack on the kingdom of Swede. August assures the people that his group will take care of the situation. Shin is asked to give a speech. This is when he reveals the name of their group to be the Ultimate Magicians. An army of demonoids launches an attack on the kingdom of Swede, who can defend using magic tools made by Shin. But soon, they break through and start destroying on sight. They arrive in time to save a mother and child from certain death. Alice and Lynn protect a soldier from a demonoid. He thinks of them as little girls. However, Alice quickly burns him to ash with her magic. Thor engages the demonoids along with Julius. They try to interrogate them but are unsuccessful. The demonoids are filled with hate and revenge. Some demonoids try to attack the shelter. Here, Mark and Olivia defeat them together. Shin takes on numerous demonoids and defeats them easily. Prince August and Maria confront the leader of the demonoids. He puts down Maria easily. However, her uniform keeps her safe. She sends a bunch of attacks his way. However, he protects himself with a stolen magic tool. So they decide to launch a simultaneous attack on him from both sides. This makes him lose concentration. As a result, his barrier breaks and August creates a donut on his chest. Zest is overwhelmed by the power of the new group of heroes, so he orders Murai to let loose. Murai engages Alice and Lynn in a fierce battle. She tries to gauge their strength. However, they manage to hold their own against her. The demonoid starts their retreat, but Shin continues his annihilation spree with no mercy. The others confront Murai to rescue Alice, but she's leagues above them in combat experience. She easily defeats everyone present until Shin arrives at the scene. As he engages her in the fight, she soon discovers she's no match for him. She makes her escape by releasing a powerful explosive spell on the others. Shin has no choice but to protect them instead of chasing her. After the battle, they all go to the shelter to assist in healing. Inside, Sicilian is trying to save a man from dying. She is unable to heal him past that point. She then tries to use her special uniform on him. Shin arrives to stop her. He uses his insane magic power and succeeds in healing the dying man. Sicilian is frustrated by her lack of power, but Shin cheers her up, showing her she did more than enough for the people. At home, they are welcomed as heroes. August is appointed as the mediator for creating an alliance with the other nations in case of another demonoid attack. The next day, the group sets off immediately to keep the world safe along with Ellie and May, who tagged along. And this brings the anime to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.